Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kevin, and I'm a graduate from the School of Social Sciences.
And I'm Marcus, also from the School of Social Sciences. Together, the two of us will be your MCs for our graduation ceremony today. As our session will begin very shortly, may we request that all mobile phones and beeping devices be turned off or switched to silent mode.
Also, please remain seated throughout the ceremony, except when the national anthem is being played.
We also request that you do not use flash photography during the ceremony, as doing so will risk overexposing the photographs taken by our professional photographers.
And now, please welcome the grand processional led in by the award winners of the class of 2012. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the national anthem of Singapore. ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing. We'd now like to invite the Chancellor of SMU,
Commencement.
Hi, I'm Yunjun from the School of Economics.
Hi, I'm Ling Hui and I'm from the School of Law.
Hi, I'm Amrit and I'm from the School of Information Systems Management.
Hi, I'm Elena from School of Business.
Hi, I'm Samantha from the School of Economics.
Hi, I'm Kin Yong from the School of Accountancy.
Hi, I'm Anna from the School of Business.
Hi, I'm Zoya from School of Business.
Xin chào, I'm Oanh from School of Economics.
I'm Zhao Liang. I'm from School of Information Systems.
Hi, I'm Amanda from School of Business.
Subadi, I'm Sanva from the School of Accountancy and Economics.
Hi, I'm Xing from the School of Business and Accountancy.
Hi, I'm Elvia and I'm from School of Business.
Hi, I'm Jonathan from the School of Information Systems.
Hing Lawa, I'm Thierry from the School of Business.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm from the School of Social Sciences.
Guest of Honor, Dr. Mary Ann Sao, the Minister of Education, Mr. Heng Swee Keat, SMU Chancellor, Mr. Yong Pang Hao, SMU Chairman, Mr. Ho Kwon Ping, SMU's Board of Trustees, SMU President, Professor Arnold Di Meyer, SMU Provost and Deputy President, Professor Rajendra Srivastava, senior management and faculty, parents, the graduating class of 2012, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are gathered here to celebrate the finale of a long but exciting story started some 4 to 5 years ago by all of us graduates. Since our exams ended in April, there's been a frenzy of activities to prepare for today's occasion. From the creation of a commencement website capturing the photos and memories of this graduating class, to graduates taking time off from new jobs to come back for rehearsals as singers or MCs like ourselves. Many staff and students have been involved to make today's ceremony possible. So, ladies and gentlemen, class of 2012, today we celebrate the fruits of all our labor with the closing chapter of our SMU story.
As we turn the pages of the book of our SMU life, let us recall the choices we made, relive our days of wine and quizzes, review our triumphs, and regret our losses. Remember our friendships and renew our bond with this university and with each other.
We also may wonder at how the same gangly, wide-eyed youths of yesteryear have morphed into the confident movers and shakers of tomorrow that we see sitting here amongst us today.
And speaking of which, our next speaker is the essence of refinement and maturity. Please welcome one of the original writers of the SMU story, the founding chairman of SMU's Board of Trustees, Mr. Ho Kwon Ping.
Good afternoon, and don't you youngsters dare talk about age. We're not old, we are mature, as you've just noticed. To our guest of honor, Dr. Mary Ann Chow, President and Director of the Chow Foundation, Mr. Heng Swee Keat, Minister for Education, Mr. Yong Pang Hao, SMU Chancellor, SMU Board of Trustees, Professor Arnold Di Meyer, SMU President, Professor Rajendra Srivastava, SMU Provost and Deputy President for Academic Affairs, distinguished guests, parents, the class of 2012, good afternoon. It is quite an occasion today, and therefore we welcome you to this official opening ceremony for the class of 2012. I look forward to this occasion each year because every year we graduate a greater number of students from a constantly evolving and increasingly refined SMU undergraduate and postgraduate programs. In 2012, we have a total of 1,929 graduates, which is 5.5 times more than what we had, 350 graduates, at our first commencement. This year's opening ceremony host is the School of Social Sciences, which began in 2002 within the combined School of Economics and Social Sciences and became an independent school in 2007. SMU's founding concept included being more than a typical business university, and incorporating the social sciences was an integral part of that concept. The sense of ethical and social responsibility, which has become the hallmark of all SMU graduates, is rooted in the social sciences. The school and the lively dialogues on social and ethical issues that result from its presence and programs add a unique dimension to SMU's holistic, multidisciplinary, and integrated education experience. It is gratifying that the social sciences are becoming increasingly valued, not only in academic circles, but also in helping businesses understand consumer behavior, to help politicians govern increasingly diverse populations, and to help shape public policies. Only last month, the International Academic Advisory Panel, chaired by Deputy Prime Minister Tharman Shanmugaratnam, recommended that Singapore strengthen research in social science and the humanities. Mr. Tharman said, and I quote, "There's a lot of untapped potential in social science research in Singapore, with lessons that can be derived for public policy in Singapore and elsewhere," unquote. And so therefore, never has your skill sets as social science graduates been so highly valued and sought after. So to all of you, I thank you for the difference you have made to SMU, and know that SMU will always be part of you. You came to this university to be challenged. You seized the opportunity of a different form of university education. The learning and the exposure over the past years have shaped you into truly remarkable human beings, fully prepared to chart your own course through life and to help reshape the world. Be willing to take risks and to be challenged. Be willing to go the extra mile and to do good. And most of all, hold steadfast to your values and to your ideals. Such has been the approach to life of our guest of honor here today, Dr. Mary Ann Tsao. Dr. Tsao is the president and founding director of the Tsao Foundation, a Singapore-based but regionally oriented non-profit operational foundation. Established in 1993, the Tsao Foundation is dedicated to addressing the well-being of older people and population aging issues through the pioneering of replicable, community-based health and social care programs to promote aging in place, provision of training and capacity building in community aged care, as well as policy and practice advocacy through high-impact research and the building of stakeholder platforms. Over the past years, Dr. Tsao has served on numerous policy committees in Singapore, including the various interministerial committees on aging, as well as other boards and management committees, such as the Tote Board, the National Volunteer and Philanthropy Center, and the Asia Center for Social Entrepreneurship and Philanthropy at the National University of Singapore. For her work on aging, she received from the Government of Singapore the Public Service Medal in 2000 and the Public Service Star in 2004. Dr. Tsao has also been involved with various international organizations related to aging and has served as director and past chairperson of the board of Help Age International, a UK-based international developmental NGO serving disadvantaged older people worldwide. And she is currently on the advisory board to Help Age's Asia Regional Development Center in Thailand. She was a technical advisor to various aging-related projects for the WHO's Geneva-based Aging and Life Course Unit, and continues to be involved with the United Nations Economic and Social Commission for Asia Pacific, SCAP, and the ASEAN Secretariat in the area of aging. Ironically, probably to all of you youngsters here today, an aging population is in fact one of the greater challenges that will be faced by the next generation. And therefore it is particularly apt that Dr. Tsao is here today and will, in a short while, address SMU's social sciences graduates who have been molded for the past 4 years to become the future leaders of a global society. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ho.
Well, we all know that SMU would not have begun if not for the drive and vision of Chairman and his board. But equally so, SMU would not be here what it is today if not for the courage and faith of every individual graduate sitting here.
Indeed, to choose this David of a startup university against the then dominant Goliaths in tertiary education was bravery.
What risk-taking?
What were we thinking?
Well, let's hear from the horse's mouths.
My story began when I was attracted to the new environment that SMU could offer.
Honestly, I was pretty clueless what I wanted to do in my life, but then I guess SMU offered me a dynamic environment for me to discover myself.
I had heard a lot about SMU being a very different school, about the many opportunities on offer, so SMU was my first choice.
Well, it was between NTU Men's Com and SMU. Funnily enough, I didn't consider NUS even though it was nearest to my house.
SMU was the only uni to make me go through an interview, and I felt that they were more serious in getting to know me.
It seemed like the happening place to be. I didn't want to stay cooped up, studying in a classroom. I wanted to have a life.
I remember SMU's marketing collaterals and ads were a lot more attractive than NTU or NUS.
I went online to check out the CCAs that SMU had to offer, and when I stumbled across some videos of Caderas Latinas, that really motivated me to join SMU.
SMU represented the ideal change agent I was looking for.
Coming from a not-so-well-to-do family, I needed a scholarship.
After I finished my high school in Myanmar, I chose to come to Singapore.
I left Vietnam for better education and to experience a multicultural environment.
My story with SMU began with an earthquake that broke all the international cables and killed my applications to American colleges. But I didn't give up. That's when SMU came to my rescue.
I was curious to find out if law was the right route for me.
Well, I was originally intending to do computer science at NUS, but my father convinced me to apply for SMU.
I don't like to be taught in a huge lecture theatre. That's why I chose SMU.
I chose SMU because of its location, its crazy student life, as well as its top-tier international exchange opportunities.
During my NS days, I found out more about SMU, and I think because of its small class size, it's actually better for me.
Choosing between NTU and SMU was a no-brainer. My seniors spoke very highly of SMU.
So Marcus, after hearing all that, do you still remember why you chose SMU?
I did, but it's a bit embarrassing.
Oh, tell us.
I thought SMU was full of pretty girls and awesome profs. The latter of which was definitely true. The former, well... What about you? What about you?
Well, for me, it's really quite simple. Apart from the fact that it's just 4 MRT stops away from home, the truth is, guys, I really like the circle values.
Well done, well done.
I really, really do. And now, next up, here's someone who has chosen to walk the road less traveled too. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our guest of honor, President and Director of the Tsao Foundation, Dr. Marianne Tsao.
Well, thank you, thank you. Good afternoon. Mr. Heng Swee Kiat, Minister for Education, Chancellor, Mr. Yong Pong Hao, Ms. Ho Kwang Ping, Chairman of SMU, Professor Arnold de Meyer, President of SMU, all of distinguished guests, parents, and most important of all, the graduating class of 2012. The last time I was in any graduation, I couldn't remember, and I realized I belonged to that generation of people who didn't go to graduations. So I never got to really wear one of these things. So I'm very happy that actually I get to wear one. Anyhow, today is really your day, and I'm really honored to be part of this significant moment and have the privilege of addressing you and sharing with you some of my lessons from life that have helped me to bring me to a pretty good place at this point. And it's interesting because when I was asked to be a commencement speaker, I'm thinking, why? Because I talk about aging. But I assure you that today I am not going to talk about aging, even though what I say will probably apply to people of all ages. It was really a challenge for me to be able to think of what I would say to a group of young people at the beginning of their life, starting a new chapter, versus what I normally talk about is really talk about how to bring new life, people who have lived a long, mature life. Anyway, so today, I'm going to share with you a few lessons, and hopefully it'll be useful for you as food for thought as you embark on your new phase of your new life's journey. My first big lesson came fairly early. I was 11 when my 13-year-old brother and I were sent off overnight to the United States because of political turmoil and uncertainty in Hong Kong. We're part of that generation whose parents fled China to escape communist rule, and who in turn sent us out at a very young age to the nearest relative who have us out of Hong Kong. And for us, my brother and I, we were sent to an aunt in California whom we have never met. Now, in those days, air travel and telecommunication were not at all what it is today. Now it's just, Skype, and it's even free. But in those days, it's not at all that way. And when we were sent away, my family knew there would be many years before they would see or speak with us again, and particularly in those days when things are so uncertain in Hong Kong if Hong Kong falls. Of course, I didn't know that. I was a total fool, because I thought, hey, this is pretty cool. I get to go to the United States, take a long airplane ride. My mom gave my brother and I a big stack of our favorite comics and a big bag of chewing gum, which was very precious in those days. I'm not that old, by the way, but nonetheless, chewing gum and candy were really precious stuff to us in those days. And we were just trying to have a jolly good time flying to the United States. And in those days, flying to the US required going Hong Kong, Guam, Hawaii, I'm not sure where, but stop at zillion places and interminably long. And eventually we arrived. It's not until we kind of arrived late at night at my aunt's house that reality finally hit me that everything was different. The house looked different, the streets were different, the air even smelled different. Everything was so strange. It struck me that my life will never be the same again. And indeed, it was more different than I could ever bargain for, because this aunt of mine, as it turns out, was a very serious person. Her nickname was the Dragon Lady. We gave her that name, actually, but she was really someone, everyone was afraid of her. And it was a very serious person with exacting standards, high expectations, a quick temper, a very stern demeanor, and little tolerance for anything she considered frivolous and impractical. And that's how I started my life in the United States. Because the next morning after we arrived, she did what was the practical. She took a pair of scissors and chopped up my hair, threw out all the fancy clothes my mother sent, and told us in no uncertain term that F-U-N, fun, is a dirty word. She actually said that. So that's how we started there. So of course, and I have quite a lot of household chores to do in our home. And so quickly I learned to take care of our two little cousins, got pretty good at mowing lawns, ironing clothes, and a whole host of household chores, as well as being a pretty decent fruit picker, cake baker, a jack of many trades to earn pocket money, because she didn't believe in pocket money. We have to earn it ourselves. And for quite some years, until I learned to sew my own clothes, I wore kind of sack-like dresses made from leftover fabric from her furniture. So it was great for playing hide and seek, because I'll blend right in with the furniture. Yeah. But anyway, and of course I was expected to bring home straight A's. My aunt was actually a brilliant economist. And unfortunately for her, due to the time and the culture of her time, she had to be a full-time housewife. And when her fellow graduates from Columbia University were actually pursuing high-flying careers and big banks, including World Bank. And needless to say, it was not a very happy time for her. And the last thing she needed was 2 extra teenagers, and the household dynamics were, well, shall we say this, less than pleasant at many times. And Hong Kong was going through some very difficult waters, and my brother and I felt deeply that we didn't really want to cause more troubles and worries for my parents by asking to go home. I did, however, hatch an escape plan. From 11 to 13, I was a bit tricky, but by the time I was 13, 14, I figured I can escape by getting out of high school as quickly as possible and go straight to university. So by the time I was 16, I finished, and I was actually admitted to a sufficiently good university that any parent would not want to turn down for the children to go to, and I left. So as it turns out, as much as things were difficult at the time, because there are times when I felt that there was really no one for me to turn to when I felt lost. There's no trusting adult to provide guidance. I didn't know how long this was going to take, whether things would change or get better or get worse. But on the other hand, it really was, in retrospect, the best thing that ever happened to me, because I learned to be independent very quickly at a very young age. I learned to figure out how to size up situations. I learned to think critically. I learned how to make decisions on my own, and I learned to figure people out, because you have to manage those relationships. You have to figure out who they are, what makes them tick, and how can effectively manage relationships in my day-to-day life so I can get what I need and maintain peace in the household. But as it turns out, my aunt really is not a bad egg, and I had, luckily, the innate compassion, innate intuition of a child to appreciate that for all the difficulties that she put us through, she did not mean ill. And over time, actually, I had emerged from this entire experience quite whole and really not on bad terms for her, which was very useful, because eventually she became the United States Executive Representative of the Asian Development Bank. And so she was, to this day, one of my greatest mentors and my greatest supporters. My lesson that I wanted to pass to you is that you really have to remember what helps, and that there's light in the tunnel. Oftentimes, when we think that things are very difficult, I find that patience is a great virtue, because at the end of the day, there's always the light of the tunnel, and if you persevere, you will eventually get out. And that you do have the ability to master your own destiny, even as a young person. Subsequently, I learned that these lessons were actually part of my family's teaching, and it's actually encapsulated in 4 Chinese characteristics that sounds very familiar in Mandarin, and it's rin, 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 and rin, which means the first rin is for ren shi, which means knowing or knowledge. And second ren is for ren nai, which is for patience, tolerance, perseverance. And third is for ren, is for understanding people and the relationships that binds people or tears people apart. And lastly, the ren is for having compassion. All the qualities that enabled me to take a long view, to look far, and ultimately to come out ahead. Now, my second lesson is about having clarity and seeking greater meaning in my life's purpose, and expansive thinking that can come with it. After I graduated from medical school, I took up a residency program in pediatrics. Strangely, right, I was a pediatrician who now becomes geriatrician. But the hospital, as is true of most good teaching hospitals, was located in disadvantaged communities, and this one was in a particularly poor community in New York City. And there, in addition to usual illnesses, we typically dealt with unwed teenage mothers, sometimes as young as 12, the baby sucking the thumb, mother sucking the thumb, and teenage drug addicts, victims of violent crimes, drive-by shootings, and all those things that we don't luckily see in Singapore, and all too little action from the city government. And when it was my first month as an intern in the infants ward, and a 9-month-old baby came in burnt, 93% burnt. It was my job to change the dressing every day. It was very painful for the baby. And after an agonizing month, the baby died. As it turned out, this was not the first one. It was the first of many burnt babies that would come my way that year. Because landlords, slum landlords, would torch decrepit buildings for insurance money, and if a few babies got caught in there, well, you know what? They don't really care. And the medical teams faithfully took care of the babies, but most of them died or were irreparably damaged. It all seemed like a very futile, meaningless exercise to me, until one day, one senior doctor stood up, one resident said, "This has got to stop." But everyone said, "But we're doctors, what can we do? They come in, we try to fix them. They die, that's all we can do." But she said, "No, doctors are not just about fixing diseases. It's really about trying to promote the best well-being for our children in our community, and this will have to stop. This will have to stop." So that galvanized many of us, and we were able to subsequently rally the community, collected signatures of petitions, lobbied for support, and pressured the city government to take action. And in fact, the burnings more or less stopped. For this experience shifted my thinking altogether, because I realized that I wasn't clear about what I was doing as a physician. It brought great clarity of purpose, a new sense of meaning to what it means to be a physician. So it's no longer about doctor doing medicine. It's about medicine as social activism for the good of the children in the community. It allowed my mind to become expansive, to consider new options for actions, and charged with new energy and hope for constructive change, and to always look deeper for what can be more meaningful in what I do in my life. And years later, I can see now that having clear, meaningful purpose in everything I've done has been a key factor for success, because it allowed me to stay focused on what really mattered, to be the most innovative and productive, and experience great joy because I believed in what you do, and not lose heart even when the goings got very, very tough. Now, this last lesson is about doing the right thing, knowing what's right, and have the courage to do it. And this is not my story. This is my younger brother's story. Now, we're a shipping family. We're in the shipping business. But my brother, at 24, being quite a smart businessman, decided to strike on his own and started a palm oil plantation in southern Thailand. And by 27, the plantation was successful and profitable. And there was a great deal of pressure for him to sell out. And of course, he wasn't about to do that. Now, southern Thailand in those days was a very complicated and messy place, and there were lots of bandits and communist insurgencies and all sorts of things, and the plantation was managed by a gun-toting manager. And one night, the manager was brutally murdered while he was in the compound. And my brother had to go and claim the manager's bloody body and inform his wife. What is he going to say? That your husband died making money for my company, making money for me? And fast forward to a few years ago, one of our ships ran into engine trouble in bad weather in the pristine waters off the coast of Alaska. And after all efforts to stabilize the ship failed, the crew had to abandon ship and had to be rescued by the US Coast Guard. The last rescue flight out was a captain and senior officers, but the rescue helicopter was damaged and fell, and all but the pilot perished. 7 officers and the ship broke up and leaking oil into that pristine sea. Now, my brother was counseled by all not to go. A disaster like this would certainly attract many, many lawsuits, so it would be better for him to send the lawyers and deal with the situation rather than for him to be placed in an awkward position of having to answer questions. Besides, what happened already happened, so what else can be done for a business, he was told. But my brother got on the first plane to Alaska, and he stayed there for quite a number of weeks. He went because he said it was his crew, his ship, and his responsibility to deal with the crisis. First and foremost, he needed to take care of the families of the officers who died on line of duty. And secondly, to take care of the environment from damage from the spilled oil. And then finally, to deal with whatever aftermath that would come with these disasters. I think he learned a great deal from his Thailand plantation experience to have the moral courage to do what's right. And in the end, expected difficulties did not happen at all, because he was there. He talked to people rather than hiding, faced issues rather than avoiding, and taking care of things that really mattered rather than worrying about himself and the company and the lawsuits that might come. Now recently, my family and I, being a business family, finally completed a family charter to figure out what we do with the family and what we do with the business and how the two will relate, and to articulate mostly who we are, what we aspire to be as a family, and what we wish for the future generations. And it took us 3 years to figure this out. And in the end, our aspirations for each member of the family to be on a life path of self-discovery and self-development, so we can all have clear, meaningful purpose in our lives, the skills and perseverance to do our work well, to have compassion for humanity, not only to do the right thing, but to strive to serve the public good. And we wish for each other to be able to look far, think big, do right, and serve. I think this is very in line with its SMU spirit. So today, as you launch into a new chapter of your life, I too wish the same for you. Look far, think big, do right, and serve. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Zhao.
I'm sure all of us are inspired by Dr. Sao to go off and write our own adventures now. But some of us will surely be feeling a certain amount of trepidation on the threshold of our next chapter of life.
Well, fret not, cliffhangers and suspense are all part of a good story, as we know. After all, didn't we feel like this too when we were starting out at SMU? If you don't remember anymore, well, here's a reminder.
After early matriculation at the end of my NS, I was offered an opportunity to work at the Office of Undergraduate Admissions. This really opened my eyes to the amount of work that goes on behind the scenes every year.
My first point of contact with SMU were the camps. I was super excited to sign up for all the camps because I've always been a camp kind of person.
I went for 3 camps. All were very fun and different. My first impression came from my camp facilitators who were super friendly and answered every question about SMU.
I was quite a gung-ho first-year student. I joined 5 orientation camps, did a pageant.
Everybody was very enthusiastic and classes were very lively and vibrant. My first friends were made during social science camp, and till today we're still friends. My first class was technology and world change, and I remember feeling really lost and alone because I didn't know anyone in class.
I was very overwhelmed initially because the overall learning environment was much more intense and competitive.
I wasn't accustomed to participating frequently in class, and I suddenly felt like I had to manage my own time.
My first class was in LTB. I was working in a group of 10 people, brainstorming for a project that had to create sustainable value for society. And it had to be executed in just 8 weeks.
My first test was definitely a harrowing experience. Taking a Stats 101 exam 3 years after the A-levels is not fun at all.
My very first test was Stat 151 by Professor Dennis Leong in week 3. Scared the hell out of all the freshmen.
I had so much fun that my grades actually suffered during my first year.
I remember thinking bleakly to myself, the next 5 years will be very challenging.
Well, to be honest, I was filled with apprehension.
I was a bit lost.
Language and culture were big barriers. The first class was fun, but I had to struggle with class part.
Everything was very new to me, and all sorts of things were happening at the same time. But it was really fun to experience all these.
Singlish gave me quite some trouble, but being shameless, I keep trying. And I also made a lot of friends that also helped me a lot.
So, Marcus, you see, despite all the doubts and fears we had as freshmen, I think we've turned out quite all right, don't you think?
Yes, I almost think I'm dreaming. After all this time, are we really graduating? Ouch! What did you pinch me for?
You say you're dreaming, I'm just checking, you know. Making sure you're okay. Anyway, just to be sure that you're really not dreaming, let's invite SMU Chancellor, Mr. Yong Pang Hao, to officially confer the degrees for all of our 6 schools. Will the candidates for all degrees please rise? Yes, you. Dreaming.
They also don't believe that we're graduating.
Please remain standing until after the Chancellor has conferred the last degree. We now invite the Chancellor to pronounce the candidates for their respective degree awards. Chancellor, please.
By the powers granted pursuant to the Singapore Management University Act, I hereby confer upon you respectively the degrees of Bachelor of Business Management, Bachelor of Accountancy, Bachelor of Science in Economics, Bachelor of Science in Information Systems Management, Bachelor of Social Science, Bachelor of Laws, Executive Master of Business Administration, Master of Business Administration, Master of Science in Applied Finance, Master of Science in Wealth Management, Master of Science in Finance, Master of Science in Management, Master of Science in Operations Management, Master of Professional Accounting, Master of Science in Applied Economics, Master of Science in Economics, Master of Information Technology in Business Financial Services, Juris Doctor, PhD in Economics, PhD in Information Systems, and I admit you to all the accompanying rights, privileges, and responsibilities. Congratulations.
Thank you, Chancellor. My fellow graduates, please be seated.
Each and every one of us has a unique version of our own journey throughout these 45 years. No doubt some will be more exciting than others. And next up, we will salute two of our peers with the most spectacular stories.
Every year, a university valedictorian and salutatorian are chosen from amongst the 6 schools for the most outstanding academic, leadership, and co-curricular achievements. These 2 top students best epitomize the values and qualities of the SMU brand. We would like to invite the Minister of Education to present the Singapore Press Holdings SMU Salutatorian and Valedictorian Awards. Please welcome our Minister of Education, Mr. Heng Swee Keat.
Ladies and gentlemen, this year's second highest university award, the Singapore Press Holdings Magazine's Salutatorian, goes to Mr. Ng Jin Yong Sean, graduating with a double degree in Bachelor of Accountancy and Bachelor of Business Management. Congratulations, Sean.
And now, for the ultimate honor that the university can confer on a graduating student. Ladies and gentlemen, the Singapore Press Holdings Valedictorian Award for 2012 goes to Mr. Lim Xu Xiang Alex, graduating with a double degree in Bachelor of Accountancy and Bachelor of Business Management. Congratulations, Alex. Alex, we now invite you to share your SMU story with us. Thank you, Minister. Over to you, Alex.
Guest of Honor, Dr. Marianne Tsao, Minister, Mr. Heng Swee Keat, Chancellor, Mr. Yong Pang Hao, Chairman, Mr. Ho Kwon Ping, Board of Trustees, distinguished professors, parents, fellow students, ladies and gentlemen. It is a tremendous privilege for me to stand here and say a few words on behalf of the graduating class of 2012. Today marks both the end of our undergraduate life and the start of a new beginning. All the academic rigor of studying and project work has finally culminated in a solid foundation of knowledge, and not to mention the exciting prospects that await us as we leave the safe harbor of university. Not so long ago, like many other pre-university students, I was having a hard time choosing which university to enroll in. In the end, drawn by the central location and a scholarship, I enrolled in SMU without knowing what else to expect. Little did I know that that was perhaps the wisest decision I have made. As I look back on these past 4 years, I can only say that this journey has been nothing short of transformational and exciting. Today, I'd like to share the 3 biggest takeaways I have from my time in SMU. The first takeaway is the power of imagination. It seems like just yesterday that I had my very first project presentation. Back then, I was awfully nervous speaking in front of an audience. My hands were trembling, I was prone to stammering, and the thought that I was being assessed on my presentation skills further added to my anxiety. However, over time, I found a little trick to overcome this fear. Before each presentation, I would close my eyes and imagine myself presenting very fluently in front of an audience. I tried to see myself being very engaging, and the more I imagined positive thoughts, the more confident I felt, the less I stammered, and over time, I became more comfortable with presentations. So I now understand that thinking positively is a matter of choice. So next time I face a daunting task, I will inoculate my mind with positive thoughts, and this, I believe, has a real impact on my words, my actions, and my circumstances. The second takeaway is what I like to call the power of zero. Whenever I engage in a new challenge, I've learned to remind myself that I am just a zero, and I have nothing to lose but everything to gain when I take a leap of faith. In SMU, I'm fortunate to have the opportunity to get involved in leadership responsibilities and taking part in various competitions. And as with any new challenge, the learning curve is always steep, and naturally, I would feel apprehensive. By reminding myself that I am just a zero, I become hungrier to learn, make fewer assumptions, and am more open to new changes. Friends, very soon, all of us will be stepping into the working world. We'll all start from scratch, and as newbies, people really are not interested in what we did or where we came from. Let's put aside our pride, roll up our sleeves, and go to great lengths to bring credible value to the team, whether it is buying coffee or building a financial spreadsheet. Every 100 start from a zero, so if you persist enough to be the last person standing, you will reach your success. The third takeaway is the power of reflection. Sometimes I find that my day in school revolves around a schedule. I go from place to place, event to event, react to things around me, and be carried away amidst the hustle and bustle of life. I will lose the internal motivation for what I'm doing, and over time, both performance and enjoyment will suffer. So I have found that including a quiet moment of reflection in a busy day is extremely important to maintaining my direction and keeping track of how I'm spending the fleeting moments of my life. This is a time where I tear myself away from both work and play and get into a quiet zone alone. I'll take time off to reflect on the things I've been doing, think about what is really important, where I've gone wrong, and how I can change to live a better and more meaningful life. Ladies and gentlemen, these 3 takeaways would not have been possible without the passion and rigor of university life at SMU. Thank you, SMU, for giving me this transformational experience. To our professors, thank you for imparting wisdom and bringing textbook to life in our seminar rooms. We certainly hope we can translate our learning to value add to society and do you proud. To the school administration, thank you for being the engine of the school and running it so well. To the Lee Foundation, thank you for conferring me the Lee Kuan Chen Scholarship, and to Singapore Press Holdings, thank you for conferring on me the honor of University Valedictorian. To my family and loved ones, thank you for your constant source of love and care. In times of weakness, you have given me strength to carry on. To all my wonderful friends, thank you for walking this awesome journey with me. I will always remember both the fun times and the grueling overnight discussions. May the friendships that we have forged stand the test of time. Above all, I thank God for His faithfulness and grace in my life. Finally, to the graduating class of 2012, let's remember to embrace the power of imagination, have a zero attitude in life and take time off to reflect deeply on our precious days in this world. As we leave this remarkable institution, may we proudly carry the SMU flag, live to the very fullest, and shine brightly wherever we go. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alex. Let us now hear from some of our other graduates waiting to share with us their own stories of their time in SMU.
One day, as I'm leaving SOSS, I saw a gentleman asking direction to go to business school, so I accompanied him there. When we arrived, he passed me his name card, and he turned out to be the managerial partner of McKinsey in Singapore, and he offered me an interview.
In my first ever term in SMU, I was so scared to participate in class, and I was in awe of all the seniors who seemed to be just like throwing up words of wisdom. And every time I had something I thought I could add on to the discussion, I would just nudge my senior friend next to me and be like, does this sound okay? Like, should I say this? Should I say this?
I fell flat on my face in the middle of class, right in front of the professor, in finishing touch class.
The first embarrassing thing that happened to me was during my microeconomics class in year 1, when I actually raised my hand to ask the professor for permission to go to the toilet.
We organized Divala Football, which is Singapore's largest women futsal event. I was just 19. I had absolutely no idea how to organize such a huge event, but we did it.
One of the most meaningful experiences I've had was being part of the group of students who founded the SMU Chinese Orchestra. We started with only a handful of members, no instruments, and no place in school to practice.
When I first wanted to start Chinese orchestra in SMU, everybody said it was impossible. But guess what? We made it!
I stood to run for president of Chao Vietnam. At first, not many friends supported me because they think that I look feminine, shy and quiet. However, I changed their mind.
I was the president of the SMU Myanmar Community Club, and I built a great team with my ESCO members. It was the toughest time of my life, yet the most fun.
I decided to continue my passion for hip-hop once I entered SMU. Even though many would argue that it's an extremely time-consuming process, it was perhaps the wisest choice I made in my life.
For this particular boring module, my crazy girlfriend said to make it fun by having a weekly dress code, so I was forced to buy clothes almost every week. It not only brightened up my wardrobe, but also showed me that a boring class can be something that you look forward to going every week when you have good friends. I love them. I remember queuing for all the freebies that Smoosa and Bondi would give out. I'd always queue with my dance friends, and we'd always be plotting the best ways to shorten our wait in line.
When I got my first rejection from a well-known company, I was very upset and wanted to cry. My project mate Gaia came over, put her arms around me and said very encouraging words. That's when I realized that although SMU is competitive, people still care for one another.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on stage our Chief Storyteller, University President, Professor Arnold De Meyer.
Guest of honor, Dr. Marianne Tsao, President and Director of the Tsao Foundation, Mr. Heng Swee-kiat, Minister for Education, Mr. Yong Pung Hao, SMU Chancellor, Mr. Ho Kwon Ping, Chairman of our SMU Board of Trustees, distinguished guests, colleagues, family members, and most important of all, the members of the class of 2012. A good afternoon from my side. It's a great pleasure for me to be here for the opening ceremony of our commencement, and in particular to be here to share the joy of our School of Social Sciences graduates and their families. Today is a significant moment as one, I hope, exhilarating period in your life ends, and potentially far more exciting adventures will begin. What you have achieved so far is great. But let's not forget that the word that we use for this ceremony is commencement. In other words, this is the start of many more great opportunities that lie ahead of all and that even today deserve to be celebrated. In fact, as our chairman already indicated, there has perhaps never been a better time to be a social sciences graduate. Business and government are beginning to realize that the insights into human behavior that social sciences can provide can give a real competitive advantage. Our guest of honor shared a number of her lessons, but she's also very much involved in immediate social problems that accompany a rapidly aging populations. The skills that you have acquired through your studies have equipped you well to understand and, more importantly, to address the sociological, psychological, and behavioral consequences of what is happening around us in society. But that invaluable field knowledge is only part of what you've learned at SMU. We saw it from the videos, but just 4 years ago, you were sitting in a similar gathering to this, albeit without these long gowns and mortarboards, at a convocation 2008, maybe for some of you in 2007, after your freshman team building camp. Even though SMU's rigorous admissions process with interviews favors the more dynamic and more confident applicants, I'm sure you were all far more timid and unsure of yourselves than you are today. I went recently to visit the new group of freshmen at their team building camp, and it's clear there is a big difference between what you are today and what they are still now. As many of you have mentioned to me and your dean, SMU has helped to create a more confident and a more articulate you with a deep-rooted sense of ethics and social responsibility. I'm sure that for all of you, SMU has been a truly transforming experience. Your journey through SMU would have given you many valuable opportunities, and I trust that you made good use of them to give yourself an enriching experience. Again, the video was a testimony to that. You had the chance to see and know the world, as global exposure is a hallmark of the SMU education. Many of you spent a semester in a partner university for overseas exchange. You have also experienced overseas internships, community service projects, business study missions, and taken part in overseas cultural programs and core curricular activities. During your time here with us, you seized the opportunities to learn, to experience, and most importantly, to give back. I hope that these experiences and the accumulated tacit and explicit knowledge that you have acquired at SMU will provide you with a hunger for further learning and perhaps the ability to translate your knowledge into wisdom. I want to also take the opportunity here today to talk to the people in the back of the room. Usually when I look at students, I know that I have to focus on the people in the back of the room. But I want to acknowledge the parents and the siblings and relatives and friends present. You have played such a crucial role in these graduates' journey and their achievement today. For the parents, I would say, this is time for paying back, right? You will finally see the return on investment when your son or daughter is walking up here and gets to scroll. Therefore, today is also a celebration for you. With commencement, our graduates now join the ranks of nearly 10,000 alumni. Again, to the graduates, I encourage you to stay connected with one another and with the school. The friendships you formed and nurtured here will be with you for a long time to come. I also want to thank all of you who have kept up the SMU tradition of contributing collectively to a graduating class scholarship. The level of giving for such a young university like ours is truly unprecedented. Your contributions will enable needy students to enjoy the education that you have had, and therefore, I personally, and together with the faculty, we truly appreciate your generosity. While every batch of our graduates has until now enjoyed 100% or close to 100% employment, we will not have done our job if this world you step into does not benefit from you with what you bring. I urge all of you to carry our circle values of commitment, integrity, responsibility, collegiality, leadership, and excellence with you wherever you go. These values are an integral part of SMU's holistic approach to education. We have always emphasized not only the training of graduates intellectually, but also the nurturing of graduates with a heart. And therefore, each year at the commencement ceremony, the university recognizes students who have embraced these values with Circle Awards. The winners have been actively involved in serving and giving back to SMU and the community at large. They have demonstrated leadership abilities and are upright in character and well respected by peers, staff, and faculty. They are the role models, and most of you will know that your School of Social Sciences peers, Tim Mao Hui and Jonathan Tan Wei Lung, both received the Circle Awards this year in recognition of their good character and remarkable deeds. To them specifically, but also to the entire class of 2012 here today, my heartiest congratulations and my best wishes for all of you for a happy professional and personal life. I'm confident that you will become leaders that will help to shape a better world. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you, Professor De Meyer. Please remain on stage to give out the next set of awards.
In true SMU spirit, we now honor the more intangible aspects of our holistic brand of education. At SMU, we value not only academic achievement, but also attainment of true character. We now present the Circle Awards to recognize the 12 graduating students chosen from the 6 schools who best exemplify our SMU values of commitment, integrity, responsibility, collegiality, leadership, and excellence.
Professor De Meyer, may we ask you to give the Circle Awards to Ko Fong Jit from the School of Accountancy.
Lee Boon On Daniel from the School of Accountancy.
Wong Tian Hui from Lee Kong Chian School of Business.
Chua Chia Rong Isaac from Lee Kong Chian School of Business.
Lo Chuan Ling Brenda from the School of Economics.
Han Xiaoyun from the School of Economics.
Lau Wen Jin from the School of Law.
Lim Yao Hui Nathaniel from the School of Law.
Xiao Liang Tong Danny from the School of Information Systems.
Ko Chun Yong Alvin, School of Information Systems.
And from the School of Social Sciences, Tim Mo Hui.
Last but not least, also from the School of Social Sciences, Tan Wei Lung Jonathan. Thank you, Professor Di Meyer. Please take your seat.
And congratulations to all Circle Award winners. In fact, every single graduate here today also embodies the same values. We are all bound by the same circle of friendship and loyalty that will connect us for life.
Yes, no one lives out his story alone without the help and support of an entire village of friends and mentors. Let's see who some of these people are.
There's just so many amazing people that I've met. Professors, instructors, classmates, and CCA mates.
My econs orientation camp group mates, as well as some of my closer SMU friends like Christine and Zitian.
My best buddies from the Office of Student Life, Eileen, Kelly, and Wansi.
Ben and everybody else from Bellary.
Well, my permanent classmate Satoshi. We met completely by chance because there was no one left for me to group with. But since then, we've done so many mods together that we don't even need to discuss who does which part.
In criminal law class, I made a very good friend, Vidya, who's going to graduate together with me after 5 long years.
My soccer friends, Juliana, Hui Ying, and Claudia.
All the dancers in Density. Then my instructor, Claudine, my OSL manager, as well as my Strats group friends.
My SMU CO members, Professor Tan Yu Guan, and OSL staff.
My sister, my senior Ngọc Anh, always watch over me. My friends, housemate, and staff from OSL.
Well, a special mention to my girlfriend Felicia and my dearest E-Mix dance mates, Amanda, Beverly, Simin, Shufang, and Daniel.
My family in Laos, Amanda, and my best friend, Christopher.
I'm very fortunate to have 3 other SMU students, Jiang Hao, Wang Yang, and Wang Yang as my roommates.
My best friends from Chamber Choir, Amanda and Abigail, and my career counselor, Vasanti.
My best friends, Anna and Abby, and my CCA friends from Choir and SMU BE.
My dance mates, my accounting group mates, my philology group mates, and Prof. Kat Yuan.
Well, my fellow EXCO members from SMU Aquathlon, Xander, Ashley, Ben, and Brandon. My girlfriend, Yimei.
I really can't thank my psychology and corporate communication professors enough. And over the years, I've worked with a few of the OSL staff as well who have taught me a lot. And I've made the greatest friends at SMU who made peer pressure a positive phrase for me.
My friends from Caderas Latinas, especially those on the 6 EXCO with me. We made it, guys!
This afternoon, we not only mark the official opening ceremony for our series of 8 commencement sessions, we also celebrate the passing out of our 5th cohort of social science graduates. We now call upon the Dean of the School of Social Sciences, Professor James Tang, to share his thoughts on this momentous occasion for his school. Professor Tang, please.
Guest of honor, Dr. Marianne Tsao, President and Director, Tsao Foundation, Mr. Heng Swee-keat, Minister for Education, Mr. Yong Pao Hao, SMU Chancellor, Mr. Ho Kwang-ping, SMU Chairman, members of SMU Board of Trustees, Professor Arnold de Meyer, SMU President, Professor Rajendra Srivastava, SMU Provost and Deputy President, distinguished guests, colleagues, friends of SMU and the School of Social Sciences, parents, family members, students, graduating class of 2012, congratulations to our graduating class, and in particular to the social science graduates. The past 4 years have been challenging and I think also rewarding for you. After all the hard work, this is indeed time for celebration. SMU is a young university, and the School of Social Sciences is the second youngest in SMU after the School of Law, with a history of mere 5 years, even though the teaching of the Social Sciences PPS program, Psychology, Political Science, and Sociology, began earlier. And in fact, the school is expanding. We are taking in more students, and we are launching 2 new majors this year. The first one, International and Nation Studies. The second one, Public Policy and Public Management. And next year, the school will also host a university-wide initiative on arts and culture management. As Chairman Ho Kwang-ping and President Arnold de Meyer mentioned in his speech, there is perhaps no better time than now to be a social science graduate, with much wider recognition of the importance of social science insights on how we think about the problems confronting human society and what we could do to formulate solutions. Your education at SMU and in the School of Social Sciences will open doors for you. Employers are increasingly aware of the importance of such insights and related skills in a rapidly changing and more interconnected world, where new skill sets have to be developed constantly, and new thinking on economic development, social improvement, and governance is necessary. In short, our graduates are in demand. But university education is not only about acquiring knowledge, but also helping students to acquire the abilities to learn and develop new skills during their lives. I believe our education has provided a solid foundation for you to face the challenges ahead. Social science graduates at SMU are a special group. And this year, all 127 of you are no exception. You're here not because you wanted to make more money, even though social science graduates have in fact done very well, I'm pleased to say, but because you are passionate about understanding society and human behavior. I'm sure many of you will be successful in different ways, and some of you probably will become prominent and rise to the top of whatever careers that you're going to choose. And the school definitely will be very proud of your achievements. But as in the previous speeches, we also need a new generation who cares about other people with a strong sense of social responsibility. In a recent article, the New York Times columnist David Brooks wrote, "Today's elite is more talented and open, but lacks a self-conscious leadership code. The language of meritocracy, bracket, how to succeed, bracket, has eclipsed the language of morality, how to be virtuous. You are part of Singapore's talent pool, and all of you will soon be busy at work, developing your careers, and perhaps starting your families. But I certainly hope that your education here has also opened your hearts, and you would always appreciate how privileged you are, and will make an effort in helping those who are less fortunate, as well as contributing more to the further development of the wider society and your country. Finally, do remember your alma mater. You are part of SMU and the School of Social Sciences for life. I look forward to seeing you back in support of the school and the university. Congratulations once again, the graduating class of 2012. All my best wishes.
Professor Tang will now present the degrees to the Social Sciences class of 2012 in alphabetical order of names. We'd also like to invite the reader for School of Social Sciences, Associate Professor Tan Yu Guan.
Amanda Sarah Matthew. Caroline Chan Kai Ling, summa cum laude. Chan Gek Hoon, Clara. Chan Pei Ru Kandira, magna cum laude. Chan Wing Hong, cum laude. Che Hui Sin. Chen Jia Hao, Howard. Chen Yi Sin. Chiu In Si. Chiu Zhi Swan. Xia Shi Min. Xia Shi Min. Chin Chin Yun, summa cum laude. Chin Yi Sing Isaac, summa cum laude. Cheng Yi Xiang, magna cum laude. Zhang Ri Sin, magna cum laude. Winner of the Helen Chua Best Senior Thesis in Sociology. Chong Sin Hui, magna cum laude. Winner of the Helen Chua Best Senior Thesis in Psychology. Chu Wei Lin Trisha, cum laude. Shah Weemin Jermaine. Shah Meng Lin. Shah Wen Min Audrey. Chung Shui Mei Gladys. David King Chorai Rajan. P. Hok Soon Samuel. Heng Jun Jia. Heng Wei Xia Joyce. Farah Nadine binti Muhammad Said, summa cum laude. Go Jia Lin, magna cum laude. Go Si Hui, cum laude. Gordon Yu Tian Hui, summa cum laude. Wei Yi Chin. Wang Xiangling Sharon, cum laude. Jacqueline Liu Shui Wei, cum laude. Jacqueline Yo Yi Hui. Janet Kelly Chu Su Ling. Yang Ke Jia. Yang Ke Shi, magna cum laude. Catriona Maria Fernandez. Ki Chunling Jana. Ku Cynthia, magna cum laude. Ku Hui Ping Dabney. Ku Shuat Feng Natalie. Ku Wen Lin Lydia. Go Kao Wing Donovan. Go Tien Hui Oriel, cum laude. Go Wen Hui Joyce. Quang Tien Yi. Y. Fiona, cum laude. Lao Siu Hui, Daphne. Li Chang Mei, Denise. Li Che Han, magna cum laude. Li En Lee, summa cum laude. Li Su An, magna cum laude. Li Yulung, Marcus. Leon Eugene Wee, magna cum laude. Liao Charmaine, magna cum laude. Liu Wei Yuan, Ashley, cum laude. Lin Fei Yi, Faith, cum laude. Lim Jin Ru, cum laude. Lim Tri Ling, cum laude. Lim Si Chen, Cassie. Lim Wei Chen. Lim Ya Chen, Eva. Lim Fei Ephraim. Loru Lee, Julie. Lo Kai Ching. Lo Chu Yang. Lok Rong Wei, Joshua. Lu Chilat, Gabriel Hans. Morgana Priya, daughter of Ramasamy. Muhammad Riaz, Muhammad Ismail, cum laude. Nadim Ali Kapadia. Lai Chu Ling, Neo Yu Chen, Ung Chong Jin Ryan, Ung Hui Chun, Ung Wei Sin, Nicole Vera Musa, Nonis Crystal Eva, Diana binti Muhammad Yusuf, Wee E. Earn Samuel, summa cum laude. Oh Chai Yun Connie, Oi Li Ying Lisa, Ong Wee Long, Ong Si Jie, Ong Chu Xiang, U Chi Ling Jana, Paranjoti Vanessa M, Paveen Kaur, Berlin Ng Li Juan, cum laude. Ho Cheng Kyong Jeremy, Quek Chi Ping, cum laude. Rajani Rajandran, cum laude. Renette Joyce Tan Ming Lee, Zara Devi, daughter of Gopal Prabhakaran, Sarah Joseph, Saratri Shanti Vidyastri, cum laude. Sherlyn Ao Shi Ying, Xia Jian Yang, Si Bun Yu Kevin, Sim Jia Singh Emily, Gumarian Divaraja. Olisa Kaur Daliwa. Tan Chen Ling Christiana, cum laude. Tan Hui Po, cum laude. Tan Hui Min. Tan Jin Laden. Tan Lee Jun Joy. Tan Chu Min Hazel, magna cum laude. Tan Hua Chen Owen, cum laude. Tan Yi Wen, magna cum laude. Tan Yung Chin David, summa cum laude. Tan Hee Kiet, summa cum laude, winner of the Ho Si Baek Excellence Award, top graduating social science student majoring in sociology. Tae An Chi Angel. Theogen Sin Hansel, summa cum laude. Theogen Ning Lian. Timo Hui, summa cum laude, winner of the Helen Chua Best Senior Thesis in Political Science. Teo Shu Ting, magna cum laude. Yong Chi Yen Melvin, summa cum laude. Vidya Miko, daughter of Vijayan. Williams Felicia Payen. Wong Yu Ting. Wong Chi Kang Clement, cum laude. Yo Shan Hui, magna cum laude. Yong Man Kun Joanna. Yong Chu Hua. Zara Zafar.
Thank you, Associate Professor Tan Yu Guan, and thank you, Professor Tang. Professor Tang, please remain on stage for just a while more. And congratulations to all my fellow social science graduates. According to age-old tradition, you may now shift the tassel on your mortarboard from right to left to signify your new status as a graduate.
The Dean of Social Sciences will now present the DBS Bank School Valedictorian Award in Social Sciences. The DBS Bank School Valedictorian for 2012 is Mr. Tan Wei Long Jonathan, who graduates with a Bachelor of Social Sciences.
Professor Tang, may we invite you to give out the award. Thank you. Thank you, Professor Tang. Please take your seat. Congratulations, Jonathan, and now we invite you to address your social sciences cohort.
A very good afternoon to our distinguished guests, professors and staff of SMU, family and friends, ladies and gentlemen. SMU Social Sciences Class of 2012, I'm very grateful to have the honor and privilege to represent all of you here today. A few months ago, I was speaking to a good friend about the meaning of graduation. He told me the commencement ceremony is where everything begins. Your dreams, your intentions, your adult life proper. And as I stand here on this stage, I can't help but believe that it's true. My presence here would not have been possible without the encouragement and support given to me by so many people. I would first like to thank DBS Bank for conferring this award on me. I would also like to thank my parents who have always been there for me. Mom and Dad, I know that I've made you worry a lot. Oftentimes, you're already asleep by the time I got home, and you would have already left for work by the time I woke up. To all the parents out there, I'm sure you have all experienced a similar situation. Trust me, it has not been an easy task studying at SMU. So today, be proud of your sons and daughters, knowing that they can finally enjoy the fruits of their labor. I would also like to thank my SMU friends who have always been there by my side, giving me advice and also providing a listening ear. You guys have made SMU so much more memorable for me. To all the professors here at SMU, on behalf of the graduating class, I would like to thank all of you for your patience, dedication, and hard work. You're not just our professors, but also our mentors and our friends. Even though we may Facebook, WhatsApp, or play online games during class, we are still listening to you. I'm serious. After all, we are good at multitasking. I would also like to extend my thanks to all the staff from the 6 school officers and also from the Office of Student Life. You're the ones who work hard behind the scenes to provide us with a smooth SMU experience. Finally, I would like to give thanks to God, because only with Him are all things possible. Our 4 years at SMU were filled with valuable moments. Moments of anxiety when we were bidding for our modules. Moments of frustration when we couldn't find a study place during exam periods. Moments of fatigue during late night meetings. Moments of gratification from being able to get all the freebies from welfare drives. Moments of satisfaction when we knew we did our best in our exams and presentations. And now, the moment of euphoria when we're finally graduating. These moments all come together to form an amazing tapestry of fond memories that have shaped our SMU experience. Anything less will leave us shortchanged. Never forget that. To all my fellow social sciences friends, as we begin a new chapter of our lives, I encourage you to enjoy each and every moment of your life. Good or bad, these moments are what give meaning to our lives. So cherish them before they fade into memories. SMU's Social Sciences class of 2012, continue to enjoy every moment to come and continue to create wonderful memories for yourself because you deserve it. In the words of the song, "We Are Young" by the American band Fun, today, we are young, so let's set the world on fire. We can burn brighter than the sun. So go forth and set your world on fire. May you blaze your own trail and leave a legacy that's worthy of the class of 2012 from the SMU School of Social Sciences. Make every moment count. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan. You've done us proud. So, Marcus,
Yes?
now that you've finally graduated, what will you be doing now?
I'm still considering what I want to do actually. The thing about SMU's breadth of education is that it makes so many more fields of work available for you to choose from. What about you?
Indeed. For me, well, in the spirit of taking the road less traveled, I'm going to be a flight steward. I will be starting next week. I have no idea where this is going to take me, but I'm just going to go on the ride and see where it goes. And I'm really excited. I'm pretty sure we're all also excited to see what our other friends are doing. So let's see what some of our cohort will be up to.
I'm really not sure what's ahead of me right now.
Oh, nothing much will change. We'll all still be dancing together forever.
I've been accepted into the JD program at SMU to study law, so I'll still be here for the next 3 years.
There will be different challenges, such as the bar exam and legal practice. But I'm not so worried because I've spent the last 5 years preparing for this.
I'll be starting work at Suntec Hospital soon, using analytics and IT to improve the patient experience.
Hopefully still dancing whilst working as an analyst. This time next year, I'll be at DBS in the Management Associate program, but I'll find a way to keep dancing so that I don't get fat by coming back to Intensity or IDNTA every week.
Well, I hope to get into the banking industry, but I'll definitely return to SMU to dance with Emix.
I would like to continue my passion for the arts and also see SMU CEO flourish. I'll be working as a business development executive at a Singapore startup company.
I hope next year I can be sitting in one of the alumni sessions and talking to new SMU students about my SMU experiences.
I'll be starting work as a marketing management trainee at Unilever, but not before going on a grad trip to Turkey with some of my samba girlfriends.
I'll be working at Credit Suisse, private banking.
I'll join P&G and continue my passion for improving people's lives.
I'm going to do my master's in the UK, and after that, I'm hoping to find a job that will allow me to help people.
I'm not going to be an accountant. I'm going to manage a business. I'll be working in luxury retail for DFS.
Hopefully next time this year, I'll be really happy with my job and I'll keep in contact with all the friends I've made here.
Well, we may get a bit rounder, but I do believe that the bonds we've built will only get stronger because we'll miss each other more and more every day.
I'm thankful to have found a job in a well-known pharmaceutical company. It's hard to say what comes next, but I'm excited and looking forward to whatever's ahead.
Well, as we can see, everyone's got their grand plans and shooting off in different directions. We wish them all the best.
Yes, it's really exciting, but, well, at the same time, it's a little bit sad.
Sad? Why?
Well, it just occurred to me that this is, well, probably the last time our entire cohort is together like this. And after today, we're all off to our different careers, destinies, and so on, our own journeys.
Yes, I know I'll miss all my friends and professors. It won't be the same again after today.
Indeed. And since Jonathan just now also talked about moments, I think these moments are best, most memorable because they are shared with people that we have made bonds with. At this point in time, as I stand here, I also want to thank my very, very good friends in social science that I've made over the past 4 years. We call ourselves Leonard United. You guys around? so-called because Leonard was the self-appointed leader of the group. In the group, we have Chiu, we have Tzu Xiang, my good friend, Felicia Williams, Delia, who is unfortunately not here today, and also we recently recruited Cynthia and Jacqueline into the group as well. I love you too. It's been a long, long journey. It's been lots of ups and downs throughout the past 4 years. It's been great. My heartfelt thanks also goes out to Min, who has already graduated, but who has came back here today to support me. Please go back to your office after this. Your boss is not going to believe the elevator is stuck for so long. As I stand here today, also, it's quite a transformation. A lot of people have helped me to be where I am today. I'd like to thank a few people. I'd like to thank the people who have allowed me to stand here today. Jimmy, giving me the opportunity to host. A lot of other people as well. Bernie, thank you. Ching Xiong, Ivy for believing in me, helping me to transform from a face in the crowd to someone the crowd faces, giving me and encouraging me to stand here and speak before all of you. Last but not least, I also want to thank my parents. I know I've given you a hard time, Mommy and Daddy, for the past 4 years, with all the random decisions I've made and the ungodly hours I choose to come home, packing my bags and leaving for Sweden for 6 months and not calling home except for once a month through Skype. Thank you for supporting me in all that I do. I hope that today as I stand here, you're proud of me. I also have my grandmother with me today. Papa, 多謝你，多謝你同我由細湊大我。希望我今日企喺度，你會為我開心，為我好感動。Thank you. Marcus, I've said my piece.
Well,
many words to share.
I think what Kevin has said is what many of our social science friends feel as well. And on that same note, my heartfelt thanks for the unwavering support of my parents, as well as my great friends in SMU Social Science, the Musketeers. Thank you for never giving up. I'll miss you, SMU.
And I'll miss you too.
I'll miss you, SMU.
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 I'll miss you, SMU.